Okay, one of the last things that we're going to talk about in the 2000s game event timeline is the debut and the announcement of the current 3D television technology. In late 2009, early 2010, television companies like Sony and Toshiba started to debut their new 3D televisions. Although 3D has been around for a while, we can all remember the blue and red glasses pretty well. I think a lot of us can anyways. This is kind of a newer technology that definitely, at least when you watch it in movie theaters and that sort of thing, has worked a lot better. Uh, but there have been those historic pushes in the past for 3D technology. This just happens to be one that seems to be sticking a little bit better. And it also seems to be driving some of the game creation, the film creation that's out there right now. So that's why it's important to talk about. The way it affects the game industry as a whole is there's a few questions that 3D technology will raise in the video game industry. As a designer, the first thing that you'll have to do when designing a game is decide if your game's going to support the 3D technology. And the third option would be, are you going to have to make one version of your product that is 3D compatible and then a whole other disc and a whole other version that is not just the standard 2D version. And that could be a large problem. You could end up having to combine those discs. You could have to try to sell and market two separate versions of the same game, which is just going to lead to increased production costs. And so then you have the question of, do you take that money out of your profits, or do you pass that money or that cost onto your consumers and make an already expensive game even more expensive? While the latest iteration of 3D seems to have grown into a viable technology, there's still many questions like these to be answered by the various industries that 3D will affect. It's really a new horizon that companies will have to explore. That's all we have to talk about on 3D televisions, and I think we're getting pretty close to the end of our timeline. Thank you again for listening.